Hey there. So, picture this. It's the spring of 1945. The Third Reich is collapsing. American and Soviet troops are racing through the heart of Germany, but they're not just racing for territory. They're hunting for treasure. Not gold or art, though there was plenty of that. They were hunting for men, the most brilliant and dangerous minds of the 20th century, the architects of the Nazi war machine. And the United States made a secret, controversial, and world-altering decision to bring them home. Welcome back. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is the Curiosity Compendium. Today, we're diving into one of the most morally complex chapters of modern history, Operation Paperclip. The story of how over 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians, many with deep Nazi affiliations, were quietly recruited by the U.S. government to work for America, fundamentally reshaping the Cold War, space exploration, and technology itself. Let's set the stage. The war in Europe ends in May 1945. The immediate priority is denazification, purging Nazi ideology and punishing its perpetrators. But almost simultaneously, a new priority emerges, born of sheer panic. U.S. intelligence learns the Soviets are scooping up German technical experts with the same fervor. The Cold War was beginning before the hot war even finished. And in this new, shadowy conflict, the ultimate weapon wouldn't just be a bomb. It would be the brain that designed it. The U.S. Army launched a covert effort originally called Operation Overcast, which was later renamed Paperclip, supposedly for the paperclips attached to the files of the desired scientists. But here's the crucial, uncomfortable pivot. Official U.S. policy forbade bringing overactive Nazis. So, the rules were bent, then broken, then rewritten. Military officials and intelligence officers began sanitizing the records of these scientists. Overt Nazi party memberships were omitted. Direct links to slave labor, like the horrific Middlework factory where V-2 rockets were built by prisoners under unimaginable conditions, were glossed over or buried. The goal was singular: secure this intellectual capital at any cost. The moral calculus of the war was being swiftly replaced by the pragmatic calculus of the new global standoff. And the prize of this recruitment drive? Men like Wernher von Braun, a charismatic, visionary rocketeer who had built the V-2, the world's first ballistic missile, a weapon that rained terror on London and Antwerp. He was a member of the SS, promoted by Himmler himself. His rockets were built on the bones of thousands of slave laborers. Yet, to the U.S. Army, he was simply indispensable. Von Braun and his core team were secretly whisked away to Fort Bliss, Texas. Their Nazi pasts were whitewashed. They became, officially, paperclips. This is where the narrative splits, like a prism casting very different lights. On one hand, the contributions of these paperclip scientists are woven into the very fabric of American achievement. Von Braun's team, now working for the Army and later NASA, became the foundational architects of the American space program. The Redstone rocket, which put the first American satellite into orbit, was a direct descendant of the V-2. The mighty Saturn V, the rocket that took astronauts to the moon, was von Braun's magnum opus. Without this transplanted German expertise, it's arguable that the Apollo program would have looked very different, or happened much later. But it wasn't just rocketry. Paperclip brought over aeronautical engineers who revolutionized aircraft design, chemists who advanced materials science, and doctors who, well, that's the other, darker beam of light from that prism. Some recruits were involved in horrific medical experiments. The CIA actively recruited former Nazi intelligence officers and psychologists for their expertise in interrogation and mind control, which fed into some of the agency's most controversial Cold War programs. The pursuit of knowledge, completely unmoored from ethics, created a troubling legacy. And that's the core tension of Paperclip. It forces us to ask a profoundly difficult question. Can a person's work be separated from their morality? Can a tool be neutral, or is it forever stained by the hands that first forged it? The United States, in its existential fear of the Soviet Union, decided that the answer was yes. The ends, winning the Cold War, getting to the moon, justified these morally compromised means. We embraced the brains that built weapons of terror to build icons of national pride. We traded justice for jet propulsion. From my perspective, as an engineer and an entrepreneur here in New York, this history isn't just a distant tale. It's a stark case study in the ethics of innovation. In the startup world, we talk about moving fast and breaking things. Paperclip is the ultimate, literal example of that ethos, where what was broken was the very principle of accountability. It shows how easily lines can blur when you're in a race, whether it's a race for rockets, for market share, or for technological supremacy. The story asks us where we draw our own red lines. What compromises are we willing to make for a breakthrough? It's a question that echoes today in debates over artificial intelligence, data privacy, and biotechnology. In the end, Operation Paperclip wasn't a simple transaction. It was a Faustian bargain on a national scale. We gained a monumental technological lead and achieved one of humanity's greatest adventures, walking on the moon. But we did so by offering amnesty, careers, and honor to men who served a monstrous regime. The rockets that soared from Cape Canaveral had a ghost in their machinery, a whisper from a dark factory in a German mountain. The legacy is dual, the soaring triumph of Apollo and the shadow of Middlework. It reminds us that history is rarely a clean ledger of heroes and villains. It's often a messy, conflicted, and deeply human story of impossible choices made in the gray dawn of a new world. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive. If you found this exploration of history's complexities thought-provoking, please share the episode with a curious friend. For more stories that untangle the fascinating threads of our world, subscribe to the Curiosity Compendium wherever you get your podcasts. This is Abnul J. Farabi, signing off. This podcast is a production of Light Knot Studios. Visit us at lightknotstudios.com. Until next time, stay curious.